Well, hello. Welcome to, see what is this? Sunday, September 26th. I'm here at the Mudro entry point. I'm gonna do a 4-day canoe trip by myself. Looking forward to it. Weather's supposed to be good, wind's supposed to be good. As expected with the low water this year, the Mudro entry point is really low, and there's a bit of an extension on the portage. I can't tell, there's so many tracks through here. A little bit of mud too. That'd have been funny, landing right on my butt in the first minute of video I recorded on the trip. This is the end of the little portage trail off the parking lot. Is this nice sandbar area normally. The water's usually right up to that tree. And as you can see, the creek is pretty dry. There's a well-used trail off there. I followed it. It goes down. Well, you saw how far as I walked. I'm going to try landing there. The trail continues on, but I think the water's deep enough right there so I can land. Weather is overcast, gray, rained all morning by the looks of it, but promised to be pretty good weather. So after this, looking forward to the trip. So far I'm floating. It's pretty shallow. I have to kind of pull my way along with the paddle. But if it's sandy like this and I have just enough to float, good enough for me. Ooh, I threw that one. Alright, we're starting the portage between Mudro and Sandpit. This one has on it what they call Heart Attack Hill. I've been over it one time, and it was fairly steep from what I remember, but that's about all the memories I have of it. Big up and over. So far, pretty quiet out here. It's kind of nice, knock on wood. Well, the hill isn't as big as I remember it, knock on wood. This going down this side is actually probably worse. It's a little rockier. You can see the just rain, of course, so it adds a little bit of challenge to it. Oh yeah. I see, there's the hill. I'm going the right direction for it though. Just beautiful in here. This is Sandpit Lake. Last time I was here, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something, with my son, we were just got on the lake here, and right about there on the shore, a moose came out and she swam across the lake right in front of us. I got some pretty good pictures of her. I don't think she had any idea we were even there. We were being pretty quiet. Sun is kind of poking out, showing off some of the fall color. Pretty awesome. Up here in the far northeast corner of Sandpit is the railroad grade. It comes out right there from that valley and follows the shoreline this way. Kind of stands out in the sunlight right now. That kind of raised grassy area. Normally that'd be underwater or darn near underwater. Not as obvious, but extremely obvious now. And that grade hugged the shoreline there, all around this cliff coming up. And then the portage that goes off into Tin Can Mike is actually on that grade. And from there, it went up the western shore of Tin Can Mike, and then up the western shore of Horse Lake too. And right there's the reason why that railroad was here, was for logging. Here's a deadhead floating around in Sandpit Lake. Very smooth barked tree, sawed at the end. It's floating, standing straight up and down. See these once in a while. Pine log from that that got lost in the process. Oh yeah, there's a stamp in it right there. Looks like an A, kind of. Yeah, they had stamps, and it's probably got a stamp here on the side of it too. Kind of covered in kind of fungus or some kind of algae. It's hard to see, but if we cleaned that all off, we'd probably find the stamp of the lumber company that cut it. Yeah, right here on the grade is another interesting artifact, is a boom log. See, it's cut off on the end, and it has a big hole in it. They must have boomed logs here. They had they would take these logs and they would hook them together with links of chain, and then they would encircle, corral a bunch of logs. A small lake like this, I don't really know why they would do that, but must have been part of that. Could have been a partial trestle too. Oh yeah, there's some big spikes sticking out of it. I don't know if you can see right at the tip of the canoe, right about there. Trying to get up there, but it's pretty shallow. Yeah, I'll get up close. Big drop off. But yeah, this is all sand that they made this out of. Right there. Big metal spikes. Cross-driven, forged heads. Yeah, that was a pretty big log. Big hole for the boom chain. Pretty cool. Yeah, if you were to walk this grade here with a metal detector, it would just be littered with iron. In fact, I can see a big old nut right up here. It's kind of nice and sandy. Hopefully that'll focus. See that rusty colored spot right there? There's a link nut. They had plates that linked the rails together, and holding those plates to the rails were these bolts and these big nuts like that, laying right on top of the ground. I think it was right after the turn of the century. I can't remember when this railroad operated here. It was part of the Cloquet line. I'll have to look up what it's like Hopkins, something in Hopkins. I'll have to look it up. The grade would have followed right at the base of this big cliff here. And if I turn the canoe around, you can see that little lump of land right there. That lump of land. And between it and the cliff, they blasted a channel through there. There's a lot of rot, a lot of rubble and stuff from the blasting. They probably used it as ballast for the grade. Crazy. I think it's Swallow and Hopkins, now that I think of it, was the name of this line. But pretty crazy. Went right along the base of this cliff. And went right down the shoreline, right onto the portage, which goes to Tin Can Lake. This is Tin Can Lake. Reference, as long as we were talking about railroads. The The grade peeled off of where the portage is on the other side of this swamp. Follow the shoreline. You can almost see the line right there. Came out across from that point, crossed the tip of that bay, went behind those hills up toward Horse Lake. I don't know if they would have had a trestle or if there's some grade over there underwater. I'm gonna take a peek here. Thinking about staying here. It's already about 12:30. This spot here, Portage Landing, is kind of interesting. Normally the water is, you know, way up to here. So a lot of extra exposed rock. It's kind of pretty. Look at this groovy. Yeah, you can just imagine it being molten. Pretty neat. And the boardwalk has been greatly improved since the last time I was here. Look at this thing. All brand new. You can actually smell the treated lumber. There's the old one. Well, thank you for building that, whoever built it. Forest Service, I'm sure. Pretty darn nice. Well, this interesting section of the grade, I can't guarantee it, but I'd be willing to bet these are all ties. What's left of railroad ties. Look at them all. They're all very parallel, and there's so many of them, and they're fairly uniform. There's some tree roots mixed in, like this one's a tree root, but there's so many of these, they're kind of just rotted old wood. They didn't pull out ties when they tore up these railroads. They weren't treated. Probably not anyway. Not like today. They weren't built as a... Often they were just sawed locally. Pretty fascinating. I've never seen so many of them like that. Like on a standard portage, just tree roots. So many of them. It's so uniform. Pretty cool. Here's the first artifact. It's a big bolt and a nut broken off of something. It's actually a hex. Sometimes they use hex for link bolts, I think, but very hard to tell. Kind of cool. Right here in the portage, just sitting right on top of the ground. And there's another artifact. It's a piece of coal from the boilers of the locomotives. Just filtering a little water here at this campsite I'm staying at here on Tin Can Mike Lake, the furthest north site. A little more about the site later. It's not very good. Not really a standing tree anywhere near the campsite. So I've put one up here on this leaning, broken off white pine just to have a place to hang the water bag. It's working. Hello again. It's about 4:15 only. Got my tent set up back here. I'm just sitting here waiting for my bacon cheeseburger hamburger helper to warm up. It's kind of a lunch supper combo tonight. Just sitting around, enjoying the view. Really quick campsite tour. There's the portage right there to Horse Lake. Big rocky peninsula out here. Quite a long way out there. Kind of a little swampy around here. There's some sandy, gravelly stuff down here. There was one white pine. It's kind of dead, all rotten at the bottom, and roots are uprooted somewhat. There's one nice tent pad right here, and the rest is all uphill. And there is another decent tent pad up in the woods, but everything's soaking wet from the water running out of the hill. And the canoe landing is down there. There's a nice gravelly spot because the water's so low. If the water were the foot higher or so, like it looks like it normally is, it wouldn't be probably as nice. Nice little spot to put the canoe down there yet too. So this campsite, there's the nicest site in the lake is the one to the, I guess the furthest south one, and there of course there was somebody in it. So I came up here, and there was a person landing a canoe over here, and so he just dropped off some gear, so they were coming back. So I went right over to this site, took a look at it, not that impressed, and couldn't really decide what to do. So rather than take a chance that the one across the way right over there was bad, this one right there, that's the guy who came across. He set up over there. So rather than take a chance, I just grabbed this one because I did see this nice tent pad. And other than that, it's not, I mean, nothing terrible about it, but it's not that nice, not very many trees. I am going to get a good view to the east in the morning, get some sun in the morning hopefully, and I should have a pretty good view to the north if I was up late and the stars were out. And I've seen a lot of wildlife. There's a bunch of otters swimming around here. There was something kind of crunching out in the woods right about in that bay right there where the grass is, but haven't seen anything come out. And other than that, the fire grate's a little bit wrecked. It's leaning, it's loose, it's just kind of sitting there loose. Rocks are a mess. The whole peninsula is very rocky and open like it is up there. It just goes and goes a long way back. I'm going to go walk up there in a little bit. But that thing, there's no firewood really to speak of, so I don't know. I don't really feel like a fire anyway. That's all I have for now. I took a little walk back behind the campsite and found the peak. Got a great view of Tin Can Mike Lake.